What's happening, folks? So that beautiful dog was Sugar. Sugar was rescued relatively recently, December, I believe it was, by a wonderful family. Sugar was, it appeared to be used as a breeding dog. She really had the super saggy teats and almost all the way to the ground, and just seemingly was overbred. So they rescued her from, I'm not really sure where, I think they said York County. And they got her a surgery to kind of tighten up, I guess a little tummy tuck or something like that, to tighten everything up. But one of the issues that Sugar has or had or whatever is that she was really uncomfortable around dogs her size. She got along well with small dogs. When they met her, she was in a room full of tiny dogs. But any dogs her size, if they got within 5 feet of her, she would automatically stiffen up, tense up, and start growling at them. They brought her here to Denver Canine Club to try to socialize her and get her into the doggy daycare. But again, with her growling, the staff was just unsure and uncomfortable with her. So we recommended one of the programs that we're doing here at Denver Canine Club, which is a 10-day daycare socialization package. So what happens is she gets a 10-day daycare package, and she comes in for 10 days and she gets one-on-one time with a trainer. In this case, it was me. And what we're doing is we're trying to move her along and introduce her to dogs at her pace in a way that she can be comfortable, with the goal of trying to get it so that she can be in the regular daycare moving forward. So in this video, I'm going to try to show you the steps that I took with Sugar. This isn't going to be super in-depth. It's not going to be a how-to socialize your dog. There's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of details and minutia that, you know, I'm looking at every time she's interacting with a dog and whatnot. But what I wanted to show you was kind of the basic pillars or the foundation of my general process. And it could be different for other trainers, but for my general process, how I introduce them to dogs and how I build them up, their confidence and their comfortability, or their trust in me to know that I'm not going to let anything happen to them. So I guess let's get right into it, and we'll kind of go over some of these steps. What I'm going to do is I'm going to watch the videos as I'm playing them for you, and kind of just tell you what I'm doing in these videos. Alright, so generally for a dog like Sugar, what I like to do is I like to start with just my dogs, because I have good verbal control over them. They don't have a lot of energy. They don't get really excited. If a dog growls at them, they don't get uncomfortable or nervous. I've earned their trust. They've earned my trust. So I like to start with just mine, and that's how I'll get a really good feel for them. So with Sugar, you're gonna see here, what I do is I have my dogs in the down position, keeping them still so that we can keep it as easy as possible for Sugar to approach them and to interact with them without feeling overwhelmed by them smelling on her or getting too much into her personal space. Everything is at kind of her pace. She determines if she wants to be close to them or not. So in this particular video, what you see, this is, I can't remember exactly how long, but we were out there for quite a while with my dog staying still and just looking at them, or going, you know, within 5 feet. She would look at them, tense up, and growl. So after we kind of hung out for a little while and she didn't feel any pressure and she was able to get more and more comfortable, we were then able to slowly approach. And right now I just want small little interactions. I want her to sniff, I want her to feel comfortable, and at any moment that she looks uncomfortable, any moment that my dogs look uncomfortable, or any moment that I feel uncomfortable, I'm gonna end the interaction by calling her away from them and using my leash and leash pressure to get her to move in my direction. In this video, you see she does a small little smell. I call her back to me. She comes to me, so I praise her and I let her know that I really like what she did there. Now, in the next clip, again, this is, time has passed before this next clip. This wasn't immediately after that smell. We did that several times. I kind of gauged her comfortability. As she got more and more comfortable and less tense and more at ease, then what I did is I allowed my dogs to get up so that it would add a little bit of pressure to her. Now I don't let them rush her. I don't let them kind of gang up and cluster around her. I want them to come and very politely and very gently sniff, so that they can get to know her, so that she gets used to, first, like I showed you, her smelling them to get to know them, and her feeling comfortable letting them get to know her a little bit as well. So again, this didn't happen right after. We continued to work out there with my dogs, letting my dogs move around, letting them get a little more, show a little more energy or get a little more, I say rambunctious, but you know, at their age, they really don't get too rambunctious. But letting them move around a little more freely. Once I got comfortable with that, then it was time to introduce her to the play yard. So when we go out, the first thing that I do is I keep her on my short leash. I got my leash is 5 feet, 6 feet, something like that. I want to keep her close to me. I want to pay attention to her, and I am going to guide her and direct her and help her make all of her decisions. So you're going to see, as long as she's sniffing politely and as long as everybody involved, both the other dog, her, and myself are comfortable, then I'm going to allow it to go. If at any point I think that anybody is getting uncomfortable, and in the beginning, really, I don't even wait for that. What I like to do is keep what I call a short handshake. I think I got that term from Tyler Muto. I'm not really sure where I heard it. I want to keep that introduction kind of short. So if you've ever had that long, awkward handshake where you shake somebody's hand and they just seemingly don't let go and it gets really weird and uncomfortable, I don't want the dogs to be smelling each other initially at this point with her for too long, because it will get awkward and uncomfortable, and that's when a mistake can happen. So right now I want her to sniff. I want her to get a quick hello, get some quick information from the other dog, likewise the other dog with her, and then I want to call her away so I can show her how to end that conversation politely without waiting for it to get uncomfortable. The more that I do that and I interrupt her and I tell her, okay, that's enough, now let's move away, then eventually she's going to be able to do it on her own. So you saw in the first clip that I called her away after a short handshake. This time I let it go a little bit further. You can see that they make eye contact and they get a little stiff. So at that point, I want it to end right there. So you're gonna hear me calling her away and trying to get her attention. Now remember, this is the first time that she is out there in play group, so I'm going to play it safe no matter what. It kind of looked like that may have been a little bit of play or engagement with the other dog, but I wasn't gonna take any chances. I call her away, I end the interaction, and we move on, and we'll come back and we'll meet him again in a little bit. And actually, I think this very next clip is the same thing, her meeting the same dog. In this one, you're gonna see I'm gonna give her a little more freedom. Again, the time has elapsed in between the two videos, but I'm gonna give her a little more freedom. I'm gonna let her make a little more of the choices. So she's smelling, she's really interested in this guy. Like I said, I thought it looked like a little bit of play last time, so I may be apt to let her go a little bit further. But you'll see that she ends the conversation on her own without me giving her any feedback. She sniffs, she gets to know him a little bit, and then she moves on. So right there, I'm gonna praise her, and I probably ended the session right after that because that was a really good interaction for her first time out there. So after she's shown me multiple times that she's learned how to kind of end the conversation, and she's getting more comfortable with being around the group of dogs, she's getting more comfortable with dogs coming up to her, she's getting more interested in going up to other dogs in a positive way and getting to know them, being curious of them rather than suspicious of them, I guess I'll call it. So as she does that more and more, then I start to give her a little more freedom. So you'll see in these next set of clips, what I do is I graduate her from my short 5 foot, 6 foot leash to a long line. This one I believe is 20 feet. I don't start at 20 feet. I let her go, 6 or 7 feet away from me. And as she's doing well, I let her go 9 or 10 feet away from me, 11, 12 feet away from me, so on and so forth. I kind of gauge it as I see her being comfortable and the other dogs being comfortable around her. Now, like I said, this was a 10-day program that she was in, so she came to daycare every day for 10 days. These set of clips were shot over the course of, say, I think about day 2 or 3 until about day 7 or 8 is when these were shot. I was using the long line at this point, and I was slowly giving her more freedom, and she was getting more and more comfortable each time that she was out there having positive interactions. Nothing bad was happening to her. So again, she started to get more and more comfortable, and eventually she started to play with them, or at least try to. She started to try to play with them. She wasn't really sure how to, so it was a little bit awkward at first, but she got more and more comfortable with it. They got more and more comfortable with her, and she started to loosen up quite a bit. actually think it was about day 6 or 7 more than I'm thinking about it. She was showing me that she was more and more comfortable. She hadn't made any mistakes. She had almost completely stopped growling at any dogs, no matter how they approached her, no matter how she approached them. It always seemed to be comfortable. She seemed to get more and more confidence out there. So I eventually made the judgment that I could let go of the long line. I still kept it on her as a safety precaution, because always the safety of all the dogs, her and all of the other dogs, and me and the rest of the staff are always foremost. So if there was any doubt in my mind, I wouldn't have dropped it. But at this point, I was feeling really comfortable, really confident about her. I wasn't interfering or using the leash in any way to guide her, because she was making almost all the right choices. Every once in a while, you know, I'd see something, maybe she'd stiffen up or the other dog would stiffen up a little bit, and I would yell, "Hey, Sugar," to get her attention, and she would stop and she would move away. So as I gained a trust in her and she was trusting me and getting comfortable and confident out there, I dropped the long line. I let her drag it around. You'll see me in this video. I don't like the way that she was following the dog, so I grabbed the leash so that I can interrupt her, show her how to move away. She does it really quickly, responds really easily. So again, I dropped the leash. Again, she's still learning, so I'm going to be interrupting her at this point from time to time. And I mean, we still do that with all the dogs, my dogs included. They'll try to play too rough or too energetically or something like that, and I'll have to interrupt them. So same thing with her. Anytime she looks uncomfortable, I'm going to interrupt her. But you'll see as I get more and more trust and I'm getting more and more responses from her, then eventually I moved further and further away and let her kind of do her own thing. Last couple of days, probably I think day 8 or so, she had been doing so well with the long line dropped. I wasn't interfering at all, so at that point I made the decision that we could remove the line completely, giving her free rein. She basically at this point is completely part of the group. Now I'm still moving around and keeping an eye on her, and I'm being what we call a supportive shadow. I got that term from Heather Beck out in Utah, K9 Lifeline. But what I do is I'm trying to be a supportive shadow. I'm there, but I'm not interfering unless I feel it's absolutely necessary. I want her to be as much as part of the regular daycare in the most normal and regular way as any of the dogs out there. And because she's earned that trust, you'll see she starts to play with some dogs. She starts to really loosen up. She's having fun at this point. So I'm super proud of her as how far she's come and the complete difference. If you look back on the first videos, every time she was next to a dog, you'd see her be real stiff, looking like she was unsure. I would be guiding her, telling her when to end the interactions. Now at this point, I'm not saying anything. I'm not doing anything. I'm just there. So like I said, the last 2 days that she was there, she was just a part of normal daycare. I stuck around to kind of supervise her and monitor, just to make sure, just, you know, as that layer of safety, that layer of protection. But I tried not to interfere in any way. I let the staff handle her as if she was a regular daycare dog, and she interacted and mingled both with the staff and with the other dogs without any interference from me. So I'm super proud of where she is. I'm super happy with how she is. And again, if you look at her, you can tell that it's a relief for her to understand that the other dogs aren't a threat to her and that she can be comfortable around them. She really came out of her shell at the end and showed her sweet, goofy side, both again with the staff and with the dog. So congratulations, Sugar, for doing such an amazing job. I'm happy for her family that they can now bring her to daycare and she can participate in daycare like all the other dogs. At first she was a no playgroup dog, so she just went out to the yards for potty breaks and for playtime by herself and with one of the staff members. Now she gets to interact with dogs and play with the dogs. So super happy with the way that this played out. And if you're struggling with your dog, either you're looking to socialize them or you have failed temp tests or had problems at other daycares, then if you're interested in our 10-day socialization program, you can bring your dog into Denver Canine Club and we can discuss it and kind of see if we can reach some goals together. But as far as Sugar goes, super proud of her, super happy with her, and I look forward to seeing her in daycare now.